Hi there, this is Just Nigeria. Coming up on the program, rising costs. We look at how inflation is impacting families in Nigeria. Also, waste recycling. Nigerian startup converts scrap tires to functional products. And mental scars. Group uses arts as therapy for children in conflict zones. Plus,
my name is Abisola Kubarak, but I must say, check me out.
The visual artist using our expressions for emotional healing. Welcome to Gist Nigeria from the BBC and Channels Television. And here on the program, we look at the stories making the rounds on social media. I am Wali Fakile. Let's start with our top story. Now, with half of the year gone, Nigeria continues to deal with the economic implication of a rising inflation rate. In May 2020, the inflation rate was 12.40%, but fast forward to May 2021, it had jumped to 17.93% rather. Statistics show that as of May this year, food prices rose to more than 22%, putting a strain on the finances of many families. Today, many are struggling to feed, pay school fees, and rent. Just how are families coping with the situation and what's the way out? Just Nigeria's Ajoke Ulotse has gone to find out.
I foresee a lot of trouble going forward towards the end of the year and the beginning of 2021. Unless we work very hard, we are going to have hunger in Nigeria.
This 2020 prediction by the Farmers Association of Nigeria is now a reality in many Nigerian homes. The struggle to feed in Nigeria is real as families continue to pant under the excruciating weight of skyrocketing food prices and other living costs. The Central Bank of Nigeria says inflation rates have shown an upward trend from July 2020 and only began to slide down in April 2021. The federal government also says it has pulled 7.5 million people out of poverty, spent $5 billion doing so in 5 years. This recent inflation descent and money spent on fighting poverty have, however, not reflected in food prices, which went up from 15% in April 2020 to 22.72% a year after. Rising food prices means a sachet of pure water sold at 5 naira a year ago is now 20 naira. A tuber of yam, which cost 800 naira in 2020, can now be bought for 1,500 naira. A paint bucket of Garri, a staple food for many, which sold at between 500 and 800 naira last year, is now 1,400 to 1,800 naira. And beans, another local delicacy, went up from 1,800 naira a paint bucket to 3,000 naira. Recently, the World Bank warned that rising prices have pushed an estimated 7 million Nigerians below the poverty line in 2020 alone. Rahila Isaac is one of them. The mother of 6 quit her cleaning job to sell soybean cake because the income from her job was unable to sustain her family. Today, feeding, clothing and housing her family has become harder, and she's worried that they may be unable to survive these hard times.
The life no dey easy with their supper. Food to see food safe na wahala. Sometimes we go see food eat, sometimes we no dey see food. We dey for block house, landlord come pursue us because of the money. So we come find this place. We dey stay, even this place safe. The Alausa come say we move. They no wan pack up for the Lagos to school. Before na private, now I don't carry them to government school because of no money to pay.
At the markets, similar stories are everywhere you turn. Struggling families finding it difficult to pay for food.
Even the common man cannot afford a mudu of Garri.
Imagine that a bag of rice costs more than the salary of some persons in Nigeria.
If I want to drink water now, tap what I go drink. I don't get money for a bite, so I'll go buy pure water, 20 naira pure water. I can't buy it.
Some of us that can't move out of this country, we are not finding it funny at all. They should come to our rescue. They should help us. The cost of living is on the high side.
Economic experts warn that this continuous hike in prices of food items and other costs of living have serious potential backlash.
If you are not increasing production, creating job opportunities, cost of living is high in terms of inflation being high, then the misery level for the average Nigerian goes up. In fact, I was looking at some data, 2018, the misery index, world misery index, were around 28%. Today, we are around over 54%, which means more and more people in Nigeria are living in misery. Misery means high level of poverty. And if that becomes the case and it sustained for a longer time, then you can really perceive a situation whereby people who are disillusioned will then turn to social vices as a means of survival.
The impact is not far-fetched. On the streets of major cities in the country, crime wave has reportedly increased with stories of armed robbery, kidnapping and petty crimes making the news on a daily basis. Gabriel Adedoyin is a struggling medical doctor, IELTS tutor and graphic designer in Abuja. His world came crashing down after robbers stole his car, parked outside the market in broad daylight.
I have an OCD of wanting to recheck every time I lock the car. So I locked the car, then went into the market. And that was around 12:30 p.m. Spent about 30 minutes in the market and then came out at about 1 p.m. And then the space where I parked the car was empty. The painful part is the car contains my laptop, contains my iPad, contains my driver's license, other personal effects that were contained in the car. These things are quite important to me because of the other things I do outside medicine.
The police and security experts are concerned that rising inflation trends and hiking food prices could portend an increase in insecurity.
If you look at Lagos State, for example, in recent times there have been uptick in smash and grab in traffic, and some communities are now, raising alarm over influx of criminals into the communities. If you look at other states as well, you see each state are having their own peculiar challenges as it is.
If some people will find it very difficult to cope with the situation they find themselves, and because of that, they will involve themselves in one criminality or the other, which cannot be ruled out. There is no justification for crime.
It is not all about rolling the armored tank alone. It's not all about, putting the soldiers there. And as long as the economic problem brought about by the insecurity are not addressed, there will be more, new insecurity issues that will be brewing, and then will lead into more problems.
The World Bank says Nigeria faces interlinked challenges in relation to inflation, such as limited job opportunities and insecurity.
Usually when you implement some of these policies, such as making more funds available to both businesses and individuals, then there's some influx of money supply into some few hands. And if you don't have the equivalent increase in production, then prices jack up. And the average person who hasn't gotten a job, and who is unemployed, or even if I'm employed but my wages are not going up, I become worse off. So the policy has to get that balance, right? So now that inflation is high, you cannot overly focus on just job creation. You want to create jobs, but also, control inflation. And that is going to be a tricky one.
And how can Nigeria come out of this sinking hole?
First and foremost, we need to create an enabling environment for businesses to thrive and create job opportunities for the masses in this country. But secondly, we cannot do this at the expense of high cost of living. So we need to be mindful of inflation and how we manage it, because it's only when people can really afford the goods and services that they can really have a higher standard of living. So that balance is critical.
The need for sustainable and practical reforms that will impact the economy and bring down food prices have become pivotal to the health, well-being and security of Nigerians. This is crucial to stop more people from being pushed into poverty and crime. Ajoke Hulotsi, GIS Nigeria.
Well, hopefully something is urgently done to address this situation.